Well, friends, we have some breaking news. Kamala Harris, former Vice President Harris, has decided she will not be running for governor of California. There's some breaking news from the New York Times here saying that the former vice president announced that she has decided not to run for California's top office. The article goes on to say she announced Wednesday foregoing another campaign after losing last year's presidential election. She did say, quote, "For now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office." She said in a statement, "I look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fearlessly, and sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans." She added, Ms. Harris, a former U.S. Senator and Attorney General of California, had been exploring a run for the state's top office since she returned home to Los Angeles in January, but she had done little to express enthusiasm for the job this year. She skipped large political events in the state and never reached out to the leaders of major labor unions, which deliver valuable endorsements. In intimate gatherings at private homes in San Francisco last month, Ms. Harris told friends and donors that she was weighing her options for the future, perhaps a run for governor, but not conveying a burning desire to jump into the race. Ms. Harris's decision comes after a long period of speculation about her political future following her loss to President Trump last year. As she approached the end of summer deadline, she gave herself to decide whether she would run. Ms. Harris attended glitzy events far from California. She was in England last week for the wedding of the Apple heiress Eve Jobs, whose mother, Lorene Powell Jobs, is a close friend. In May, she attended the Met Gala in New York and spoke at a real estate conference in Australia. Her deliberations came during a summer of political turmoil in California, in which federal immigration raids and President Trump's deployment of military troops disrupted life for many residents and put the state's leading Democrats on the defensive. Ms. Harris weighed in selectively with a handful of statements on social media, but mostly stayed silent about the tumult unfolding in her home state. It's a developing story. We'll see kind of what happens moving forward. But, could she run for president again? Probably, because what other office would she be potentially looking at? Or maybe she's just done completely. And I wouldn't blame her if she decided, you know what, let me just stay politically engaged in other ways. If that does not mean holding an actual elected office, that's cool. I will still go around, campaign, help elect Democrats. I can stay politically engaged that way. I don't necessarily need to be in an elected office. We could have had it so good with her. Because let me tell you guys something. Those of you who went out and voted for Donald Trump, those of you progressives and leftists who killed any momentum she had, like, look at the situation we're still in. I mean, 100% still blaming Donald Trump voters, the MAGA base, for getting him back in there. I mean, you guys literally gave the presidency to a felon. Oh my goodness. But then you want to talk about getting criminals out of this country. Look, you're still broke. The world's not getting better. You still work a job that you hate. These mass deportations are happening, and your life still sucks. He came in to make everybody's lives better, but your life still sucks, right? He had no plan for you. His economic policy was the tariffs. He said that's what was going to help, put money back in your pocket. He said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, which just means you're going to get a credit at the end of the year. Whether you get a bit bigger refund or have to pay less in, that's what that means. You're not getting extra pay in your paychecks every 2 weeks, every month, semi-monthly, whatever the case may be. Look, Kamala Harris had an actual plan, right? She wanted to give $50,000 for people who wanted to start up a business. She wanted to give homeowners down payment assistance for people who are trying to buy first-time homes. She wanted to ban major corporations from buying up single-family homes and then turning them around and renting them out for astronomical prices, pretty much making homeownership out of reach for the majority. She had an actual plan to make life better. And this is the argument that I hate when people make. Oh, well, why didn't she do that when she was vice president? You dumbasses. Don't you know that the vice president technically has no actual power, right? The vice presidency wasn't even that glitzy of an office. When I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, one of my friends told me this story, Tommy, who's been on the show. Obviously, you guys, if you've been for a while, you know Tommy. He talked about how, like, there was a president who had died in office or assassinated. Something happened, and they didn't even know where the vice president was. It took them like 3 hours, and they finally found him like playing cards in somebody's basement. And they were just like, okay, we need to get this person security, and we need to actually keep an eye on this person because of a situation like this happening. We could have had it so good with Kamala Harris, but you guys decided that you felt she just was not good enough. You thought Donald Trump was the lesser of two evils. So you fuckers went out, put this man back in office, and now we are 6 months in, and it feels like it's been a century. Nothing is getting better. Nothing is improving. These tariffs wars are crazy. People are losing their jobs. The federal government is being gutted. People are losing their jobs in federal offices. I mean, you've heard the stories of people who voted for Trump and it cost them their job because Doge cut their department. The Department of Education is being dismantled. School systems are not having enough funding to be able to follow through with IEP plans, make sure schools are accessible, updated, and make sure that students have all the tools they need for the best learning outcomes. You guys decided to put the fucking WWE lady in charge of education. Oh my goodness. This stuff really gets me going because we literally could have moved forward in this country, but you guys wanted to take us back. And nothing in your life is getting better. Like we're talking about Epstein. We're talking about how Donald Trump is a PDF file. Like nothing is improving. Nothing is improving in anyone's lives. No one. And when he's talking about, oh, we need to investigate Kamala Harris, we need to investigate Beyonce, people are like, yes, this is what I voted for. Are you serious? That is the number one thing that you're concerned about? I saw a TikTok of a black lady. She was talking about how she grew up in like this affluent, predominantly white neighborhood. And she was like, yo, when Biden was president, you saw my neighbors, they were buying new cars, they're buying new Range Rovers, new BMWs, new luxury vehicles. They were doing remodels to their homes, adding additions, doing kitchen remodels, going all out, redoing their landscaping, putting in pools, all of this stuff during the Biden administration. But then when it came time for the election, they're just like, oh, things are so expensive, I can't afford to live, so I'm going to go vote for Trump for the economy. What? Y'all aren't serious. Y'all aren't serious. Y'all are not serious. But you know what? I wish Kamala Harris all the best with whatever she decides to do. You know, whatever she decides to do, I wish her nothing but success. If she comes back and runs again for presidency, don't fuck up again, America. That's all I'm going to say.